A sweeping, deeply consequential decision from the nation's highest court, ruling to overturn Roe v. Wade, rocking the foundations of more than 5 decades of legal precedent in our country. The court taking away a constitutional right that women in America have had for almost 50 years. Women like Maddie, a college student whose abortion journey Nightline followed last year.
It just breaks my heart because the one thing I think about is all of these girls and these women that are going to have to face struggles.
Today's decision reaffirming the views of anti-abortion rights advocates like Kristen Hawkins.
We've been calling ourselves the pro-life generation, so it's overwhelming to think now we are the first post-Roe generation.
The 6-3 decision by the court's conservative majority upheld Mississippi's ban on abortions after 15 weeks. 5 of those justices, Samuel Alito, Clarence Thomas, Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett, went even farther, voting to overturn Roe v. Wade itself.
There's never been a case like this where settled law that has been affirmed and reaffirmed, granted an important constitutional protection, indeed, what has long been understood as a fundamental constitutional protection, and then is removed by the court.
This coming just weeks after a leaked draft of the opinion circulated, which nearly identically mirrored today's decision. The impact of today's ruling will be immediate. 13 states have trigger laws that automatically end access to abortion now that Roe is overturned. 7 have already gone into effect. Among them, Arkansas, which outlawed abortion today. Dr. Janet Cathy works as the state's only abortion clinic. She was already forced to turn people away.
We had patients in their car on their way here. And, we called patients. It's like, I'm already on my way. And they thought, well, I'm already on my way. It'll be okay. And it's like, no, it's immediate. It's immediate. I would say panic is the primary reaction.
Some of those women now have to drive more than 7 hours to states like Illinois.
Abortion access will look very, very different depending on where you live and also depending on the resources you have access to travel elsewhere if you do live in a state that restricts or prohibits abortion.
However you feel about abortion on a personal level is up to you. It becomes problematic is when you take your personal beliefs and then try to move them into law.
Lack of access to abortion disproportionately impacts low-income women and women of color who often don't have the financial means to travel to a state where abortion is legal.
What does this ruling mean for women of color across the country?
This is pushing this health care out of reach for women of color, for folks of color who need it every single day. This has huge implications on how people manage their lives every single day.
Public opinion polls have consistently shown that the majority of Americans support upholding Roe v. Wade. In a recent ABC News Washington Post poll, 7 in 10 people say the decision should be left to the woman and her doctor. Nearly 1 in every 6 adult women have had an abortion.
We won't go back. We trust women.
Demonstrators flooding the streets after today's decision. Young women in favor of abortion rights outraged.
All this is going to do is exacerbate the amount of unwanted teen pregnancies that we are currently having in the community, as well as in the entire state of Texas.
I was shocked, angry, but more than that, I was tired. Access to abortion care and abortion services should not depend on your zip code.
Others jubilant.
I'm so excited, happy, overwhelmed to be living now in a post-Roe America.
I was shaking and I was so happy. I couldn't even think about anything else. I was just shaking. I never thought that I would witness this moment.
The president speaking from the White House today, emphatic in his repudiation of the ruling.
It's a realization of an extreme ideology and a tragic error by the Supreme Court, in my view.
While Republican leaders are lauding the decision.
Today's Supreme Court decision in Dobbs is the most important pro-life ruling in American history. We now have a voice for all life.
Multiple state leaders vowing to keep access to abortion open for anyone seeking them in their state.
We will not stand on the sidelines.
The West Coast United States is going to stand strong.
You'll fight like hell to protect your rights and your safety.
In Texas, restrictions have already been in place since the fall, when the state legislature banned abortions as early as 6 weeks. A decision that has since affected countless women, including Maddie, who found out she was pregnant just days after the law went into effect.
When she told me that I was measuring at 10.5 weeks, I just cried. I was heartbroken and terrified. I immediately knew that any chance I had of being able to have this procedure done in Texas was gone.
So she was forced to travel 400 miles away, across state lines, to a clinic in Mississippi, Jackson Women's Health Organization, the very clinic at the heart of the Supreme Court case.
Do you feel secure in your decision today?
Yeah, my decision hasn't wavered. It's my body and it's my choice. I don't think it's right for people to try and convince others when it's not their life that's about to change.
You said in our original pieces that your body is your property. You should have control over it. What does this ruling tell you about who has control of reproductive rights of frankly, women's bodies?
It shows that I never had the right to my own body. It's clear now that it's up to Texas legislation.
Maddie says she had the means and the support to fly to Mississippi for her procedure, but Mississippi is one of the states with a trigger ban. The clinic she went to, the Pink House, announcing that it too will soon have to close its doors.
What's your reaction to hearing that news?
It breaks my heart because it was the only clinic.
And so for people like you who are having to travel out of Texas to get to a clinic, what does closing the Mississippi clinic and the 13 other states that have trigger laws do to women looking for abortion services?
It makes everything so much scarier because the demand becomes higher. I couldn't go to Louisiana because it was booked up 3 weeks. I didn't have 3 weeks to wait. These women are going to lose all choice that they have because of the little things that each state has done to make it difficult.
Today's ruling, a victory, decades in the making for anti-abortion rights activists. Kristen Hawkins is the president of Students for Life of America. The group has had a vocal and vigorous presence at nearly every abortion event.
Pro-life signs! Get your pro-life signs, guys! Today I speak to you pregnant with my 4th child, my first daughter. We are the pro-life generation!
Nightline has followed Hawkins to protests and rallies like the March for Life since 2015.
At the end of my talk, I'm gonna go for we are the pro-life. You guys need to start chanting it.
Okay.
Hawkins' work gaining momentum with Donald Trump's Supreme Court picks. We were with her in 2018 as she lobbied for Brett Kavanaugh's Supreme Court confirmation.
How has your mission changed today?
Our mission really hasn't changed. Reversing Roe, we've always considered that to be one of the first steps in our mission of making abortion unavailable and unthinkable in our nation.
Will you be going after those who are the pregnant women themselves now, given that it's the act of getting an abortion that is now illegal?
We do not believe in prosecuting or putting a woman who has, solicited an abortion, has had an abortion, into jail, because we very much view her as a second victim of the abortion industry that has told her that she is not capable, that she is not strong enough.
Are you fighting to stop abortions in the case of rape and incest as well?
We've been very clear that a child's circumstance of their conception doesn't negate their basic humanity and their right to be born.
If a 14-year-old girl is raped by her father, would you try to deny her an abortion?
I think it's almost laziness to say, oh, a woman's been raped, therefore we're going to protect her access to abortion, and that solves her problem. That actually doesn't solve her problem.
Hawkins says in addition to getting abortion banned outright, her group will now work to raise awareness of existing support services for pregnant women and to advocate against medical abortion pills.
My body, my choice!
Tonight, people across the country making their voices heard, like Maddie, who says the fight continues.
This is a big deal, and I'm worried that the wake-up call we needed was Roe being overturned. And it's too late because now everything has become incredibly more difficult And we are going to have to fight an incredibly hard and long uphill battle that women my age are not prepared for.
We won't go back. We trust women. We won't go back.
Up next, the backstory of Roe in Roe v. Wade and the Texas woman who made that landmark decision possible.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.